What's up, all? Round 5 here. New update is dropping tomorrow, kind of unexpected, and we're getting the 5 new cars, kind of expected, right? The Elantra N, the Mazda Spirit Roadster 12R, the Opel GSR Corsa, I forgot the name, but okay, the Toyota Land Cruiser FT40, and the RAV4 Adventure 2. It's coming up tomorrow. Now, the kind of like interesting part is like this: we are getting the update tomorrow, not on Thursday, which kind of I want to say is a bad thing. Actually, kind of nice because normally on Thursdays I have kind of a lot of stuff to do, so I cannot kind of start the videos. And but there's kind of this kind of change a little bit because I can maybe speed run some of them. So about the cars, for now we don't have much information from the game. Like when I talk about the cars, I mean their performance points, which is kind of like the most important things for a couple of stuff. I know we know that like on the website we got the information about like a couple of events, and also sadly we don't have any new tracks coming up, as kind of been seen too, right? We don't have any sort of like surprise races, tracks coming up. So to start, we have the Sunday Cup at Sardinia, the Road Track C, which kind of the I would say it is one of the shorter versions. And probably this is going to be really useful for either the RAV4 or the Land Cruiser, which I actually wouldn't say to use it for those races unless you modify it, because I feel the performance points is, my guess, going to be between the 200 performance points or 150 performance points. We're going to have the Japanese FR Challenge 450, which, since we're getting the Mazda Spirit, you guys already can expect is going to be for this car. Of course, you guys can use other cars too, but a nice other place to race at Suzuka. Finally, more race at Suzuka, because you only have a couple events and none of them for the majority of Japanese cars too. We're gonna have a race of turbo sports cars at Watkins Glen, which kind of, I wouldn't say it's surprising, but it kind of was missing out because we have a Road Atlanta, but not a Watkins Glen. Kind of like missing one of the events too, one of the tracks. This one probably gonna be for the Elantra. Seems like the Elantra is like full cylinder turbo. But of course, as you guys know, coming with the Elantra, and I guess its performance points are gonna be close to what the Civic Type R is, so around the 523 points. Of course, I'm gonna make a talk about it with both cars because kind of like the Elantra is the competitor for the Civic in a certain way, different layout, like a different platform, but follow the same stuff. Gonna have a Vision GranTurismo trophy at Nürburgring GP, which kind of nice, but actually would be cooler. In my point, that's kind of my idea. Is like if we had a Vision GranTurismo event at the Nordschleife, because kind of reminds me a little bit of the GranTurismo Sports. They had like a whole like race like Nürburgring with those cars. And for less, it's not much. I didn't expect to have this actually coming up, but we're gonna have a WTC 700 at Alsace Village, which kind of cool, in a certain way, because that track kind of is kind of like behind a lot of things. We have a couple races, but nothing very, I would say, professional. And for now, that's it. For if anyone was expecting a race with a new track, actually, I can deny. Not surprised that we're not gonna have a new track too. But yeah, that's it. Now about just a little bit about the cars. You're gonna see a couple of images. Remove it from the website too, as can be expected. I'm gonna even link the link in the description if you guys want to see in 4K, in better resolution too. I don't know. At least this is gonna be for the NPC cars here, the RAV4 for example. I feel this one is definitely the fun version of the car. By the interior, as you guys can see, it doesn't look like it's a CVT. I can be totally wrong. It seems like a sort of kind of classical automatic, but maybe it will be like this version of car that like you still can shift like the Toyota Alphard and the Toyota Crown, but it doesn't seem like the sort of car that it's gonna be like the sort of like CRV competition. At least gonna be maybe close with the 630 is. Now for the GSC, we don't have much seeing about the car. We just like have like the car, the steering wheel. For the MX-5 or the Spiritual Racing, as can be expected, just your manual MX-5. As I was looking before on the post a couple days ago, seems like the Spiritual Racing have a 200 horsepower, which can be kind of fun, and especially when you combine a lightweight with performance. It's kind of like a Civic or S2000. I mean, not a Civic, but like a S2000 layouts on even more pocket-sized style. The Elantra, I mean, it seems like your normal Hyundai nowadays, because any platform from Hyundai kind of have this like more aggressive design from the interior. The front, I'm not exactly I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not a fan, but this one kind of looks cool. Because normally I saw any sort of Elantra having this sort of like kind of look like a fish mouth, but this one they kind of did well with it, so that was kind of nice to see. I mean, for the Land Cruiser, I don't expect much. like if anyone is expecting this car to be really powerful, I highly doubt about it. Probably gonna have more engine swaps. If that would be fun, if we can 2JZ or VTEC swap the Land Cruiser, we can have a very monster off-road. Which at first you guys are not gonna see me doing anything with this car, because gonna be testing first like the Unimog, and seeing depending on how it's the performance, you guys can expect already not a race you're gonna come out of with this car, but something random, because I really don't see actually where we're gonna use this car. If we had like a full race of like doing like random stuff in tracks like we used to have back on GranTurismo Sport or GranTurismo 6, we're like driving, like hitting cones or doing anything opposite of racing, like a coffee break, then I can see this being useful. But for overall, I highly doubt about it. It's just like the Jeep Willys at first. If you don't have an engine swap as soon as it comes out, this car is kind of gonna be like not even bought. We can't expect about it. About prices, I think like that's kind of like the more interesting. I won't say the more interesting, but maybe guys can be expecting like the price as expected. Probably the Corsa GSE is gonna be costing $1 million, as every other VGT we have in the game. The Spiritual Racing, I will guess it will cost between 50,000 to like probably like 80,000. A little salty if you see the MX-5 price, not only the MX-5 but the 2023 or 2024 version of the car, which is have the racing logos and stuff. It's kind of like a salty, but with the 200 horsepower, I guess it's gonna be a little more expensive. The Elantra, I would say the same price range as the Civic FO5, the FO5, not the FK8, which is gonna be like not bad in price. If you see by the performance we're getting, kind of, I would say it's not too bad. And seeing as a turbo, you can already expect that it's gonna be really good with performance. On the RAV4, I would take the price as close to the CRV, the CHR, the Toyota CHR, the Honda CRV, gonna be around the same price range, because the car is not, exactly very expensive to build in a certain way, and it's very common. It's supposed to be our NPC car once more. The Land Cruiser, I will take, like, if we put many other similar cars to this one as the Jeep Willys, I will put the car costing at the legendary dealership will be costing around I might guess 30 grand max. I could be totally wrong with this one, because it's a Land Cruiser. It's like old model, kind of have the whole history from Toyota in the background, so we might see between like maybe 70 grand, maybe 30 grand, kind of stretch right here. So it's just a guess. But overall, the update is nothing actually very, I would say it's more much interesting for most of the time, because for all the cars we're getting, the Opel seems like the more interesting, and the Elantra seems like the more interesting in certain ways, because the Elantra still have more possibilities to use than the other cars. Because a turbo. You can modify. You can make it like a full on, more like a race car. Than most of it. The Spirit 12. I would put it as it can be almost a good 550 car, depending on what you do. If you don't come with already sports hard tires, which I highly doubt, would depend on the amount of performance you have. And when it comes to performance, I mean the horsepower, because for anyone that knows, and this like I kind of stretching a little bit my commentary. Cars beyond like below, below the 230 horsepower in this game don't receive sports hard tires. You can see by the Golf, by the Volvo, by any other car we have in the game that is like below 235 horsepower, don't have sports hard tires, even though they actually were supposed to get, because they have more horsepower and they have like a lot of power, and kind of they are performance cars, are race sports cars or hard hatches. But that's it for now. Tomorrow we're gonna be seeing about like the new races and the new cars. I wouldn't say I'll be start posting in the morning because that's like still waking up. I'm probably gonna start with like the more easy cars, depending how they are. I think like the first car I'm gonna be starting is the GSE because it's a VGT, so I can just put in a race and use it. Depending if it is like a street car and the performance points are not too powerful, I would take it as you can even use on a couple of other events like the hypercorporates, like the Corvette 6 concept. By the other cars, probably gonna make it Toga, which the Elantra. When I saw the Elantra coming up, I already knew they were gonna be making a Toga against the Civic, because of course we need to have the family competition again. And I'm now with the Mazda. I don't know how it's gonna be. I will be waiting how it's gonna be these performance points, because if anything, I can even make a race against the Toyota SFR concept, which I already had the idea before, but I was waiting like I don't know. I kind of like forgot to do this one, so I can make a Toga between those two. Now the RAV4, I will see. It's gonna be another one of waiting and see if the car is actually the fun version and is around the 400 points. Maybe I will bring this against the Mazda 630 Smart Edition, because then both cars are gonna be like kind of close to each other. I wouldn't say it's all-wheel drive, but knowing Toyota, this might be an all-wheel drive. I don't know much about the RAV4, to be honest. Like I know like old versions, they had the all-wheel drive already. So nowadays a RAV4 and a couple of the Toyotas become just soft roads version. So I'm gonna see how it's gonna be. And even though if it is the all-wheel drive, I mean it's gonna be a fair competition between both cars because they are kind of slow with each other. And well, that's it. Different video. Sorry for the yapping at the end right now. I just like giving the kind of like maybe I wouldn't say teasing the upcoming ideas, but a couple of like something that come up to me with these new cars, and actually reviving a couple of like new things too, because it's been a while since I did like the talk. It's been like a month. Well, anyways, that's all for now. We're gonna be seeing more just my average videos later on. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoy and stay tuned.